Good morning, YouTube. It's your boy, Sonic the Wrestling Reporter Hedgehog, and I am back with another video. Now, you're probably wondering, why is this kid up so early? Well, let me put it to you this way. It's 2:20 here in Columbus, Ohio, in the morning, and I have to work at 7 a.m. because that's when my morning shift begins at McDonald's. So, as long as I'm getting paid, I'm good. So today, this morning, I should say, I'm going to be talking about AEW Revolution. I mean, from the way I've heard, Jon Moxley won the AEW title. And I didn't believe it at first, but then I had to look it up. And it says, Jon Moxley defeats Chris Jericho. I'm like, what? I'm like, boy. So, I am here to give you guys my grades and analysis and the results for AEW Revolution. Now, the future match card is Jon Moxley versus Chris Jericho for the AEW World Championship, which has been a violent feud with blood, spikes to the eyes, and a lot of Jon Moxley being awesome. Cody and MJF finally met in their anticipated grudge match, but MJF had a few tricks up his sleeve for Cody since Cody has gotten the better of him week after week on TV. Will Hangman Page turn on Kenny Omega, or will the Young Bucks one day? I'm not sure. Maybe the Young Bucks will turn on him. Or something else that we don't expect. Either way, I can't wait to find out. Now, when we begin our conversation, let's start with AEW Revolution, the buy-in. The first match of the pre-show is SCU facing the Dark Order. Will Christopher Daniels have a role to play? What about the Exalted One? I'm sorry, before I continue, I'm still saying that the Exalted One's Matt Hardy. I'm sorry. Because in one of his tweets, the first the letters of each word he said AEW. So it actually made me wonder, is he hinting at a appearance at AEW, or is he the Exalted One? That's a prediction I'm still going to go with. Matt Hardy is the Exalted One. So, Soko Uncertain Sword, Frankie Kazazoing, and Scorpio Sky versus the Dark Order, Evil Uno, and Grayson. Before the match, Sky and Kez asked Daniels to stay backstage. Sky and Kez immediately attacked the Dark Order once they got to the ring. Not waiting for the bell to ring, Kez hit a springboard leg drop on Grayson once the match settled down a bit. But Grayson kicked out, and ended up shoved Kez into the corner. Kez remained on top intentionally, but Grayson caught Kez with his Hurricane Rana to the floor. Evil Uno set him flying to the ring past post before the Creepers attacked Kez and set him back in for some heat in double teams. Grayson attacked Kez and worked him over with punches before tagging out to Evil Uno. The crowd then chanted "spooky perverts," which was hilarious. And I will admit, it was pretty hilarious at the fact that they were saying "spooky perverts." I was like, really? Spooky perverts? Oh my gosh. Grayson continued to work a fast pace, getting a few near falls while Uno used a lot of power to stay on top. Kez was able to dodge a few double team attempts, then slingshotted himself into the ring and rolled under Grayson's arms and tagged out to Sky, who ran wild. Kez hit a DDT after Sky leapfrogged over Grayson, but Grayson fought out and hit a backflip kick on both men before Evil Uno launched Sky into a belly-to-belly on Sky that sent him flying into the corner. And to Kez, Dark Order hit a combination powerbomb on Sky for a 2 count. Dark Order looked to a hit fatality on Sky, but Sky fought out and rolled into a monkey flip on Kez, who flipped over and clotheslined Grayson and Uno. As they went for SCU later, Uno pulled Kez out and sent him into the stairs. Uno hit a hard clothesline to Sky's head and pinned him. The result was the Dark Order. My rating for this will have to be a 3 out of 4. The Dark Order started to beat down SCU after the match, and Colt Cabana ran down to make the save. The numbers unfortunately overcame him too, but the Dark Order's music hit and the hooded figure came out. It was Christopher Daniels. He pretended to be the Exalted One. It looks like SCU had a plan to mess with Dark Order. Daniels ran wild and attacked and made the save. That was quite good. So the next match that we have was Dustin Rhodes versus Jack Hagar. Ugh. So Dustin ran at Hagar, but Hagar drove him into the corner and hit a back suplex quickly before hitting some strikes. Dustin raked Hagar's eyes and threw Hagar to the corner. Dustin threw Hagar over the guardrail and started beating him in the crowd. Interesting. Dustin has turned this from a fight in the ring into a dirty brawl, which allowed him to take on Hagar. Dustin smashed Hagar's arm into the ring post repeatedly to get some payback for Hagar breaking his arm a few months ago. Hey, payback is a bitch. Hagar ducked a clothesline and hit a backdrop on the apron and then hit Dustin with a clothesline on the floor. Dustin crashed to the mat like a ton of bricks. Hagar got a 2 count and Dustin ended up back in the corner. Hagar hit a series of knees and a snapmare before locking on an arm lock. Snapmare, nightmare. Interesting. Hagar got the heat here for several minutes, with strikes and basic submissions. Hagar kept attacking the liver area of Dustin, constantly keeping Dustin winded. Hagar tried to attack Dustin on the apron, but Dustin fought back and hit a clothesline that drove Hagar to the floor. Hagar drove Dustin into the guardrail, though, and went to talk to his wife. She was giving him a pep talk, but Dustin kicked Hagar in the face and they gave his wife a kiss before hitting an uppercut and a bulldog on Hagar. Oh my god, when I saw that, I'm like, what? It was so crazy that it was unreal. When I saw Dustin do that, my mind was just like, boy, why? Why Dusty? Well, I called him Dusty. I called him Dusty? Ah, fudgicle. I called him Dusty. So Dustin Rhodes kissed Jack Hagar's wife. Unbelievable. That is unbelievable. Hagar kicked out and cut him off with a knee. Hagar hit a Vader bomb for a 2 count. Wow, we got a Vader fan in Hagar. Hagar hit a series of hard clotheslines in the corner to hurt Dustin. Hagar hit a gut-wrench powerbomb and got a near fall. That was close. Hagar kicked the leg of Dustin and charged into the corner again, but Dustin sent him flying over the top rope and he crashed face first into the stairs. Dustin brought Hagar back in and started to punch him in the corner before setting Hagar up for the Shattered Dreams. The ref cut him off before it was a low blow, so Hagar fought out. I'm confused right now on that. When I saw that, I'm like, what? I didn't see no low blow. After watching it constantly, I did not see no low blow whatsoever. Dustin hit Hagar with a kick instead and went for the code red and got a 2 count. Dustin decided he was going to break Hagar's arm and went for the armbar. Hagar countered into an ankle lock, leaving Dustin screaming in pain. Dustin rolled through and Hagar almost hit the referee. As the ref's back was turned, Hagar hit a low blow with his knee and locked on a standing arm triangle to make Dustin pass out. The result, Jack Hagar over Dustin Rhodes. Rating for this match, on a scale of 1, 0 being the being worst, and 4 being the best match ever of the night, I'm going to have to give it a 2. This was a fine match for the most part. Don't get me wrong on that. The spot with Dustin kissing Hagar's wife against her will was a bit awkward and a strange babyface move. It was kind of a standard thing in old school wrestling, but it felt weird here in AEW. The match itself was not bad at all. The crowd was hot and everything looked good. Darby Allin's video had a skateboard roll across the ring, and he hit a moonsault onto it. That was awesome. So next match we have Darby Allin versus Sammy Guevara, who, by the way, is another member of the Inner Circle. In case you guys forgot about this, Jack Hagar was also a member of the Inner Circle. So let's chat about this match. Darby Allin versus Sammy Guevara of the Inner Circle. Darby Allin immediately ran at the corner and hit a suicide dive on Guevara, and a shotgun drop kick to drive Guevara into the ground guardrail. Guevara drove Darby in with one of his own. Darby put Guevara on the guardrail and went for a dive, but he fell short as his foot got caught in the rope. Darby limped to his feet, and Sammy killed Allin by hitting him with the skateboard and then played air guitar on it to a huge amount of booze. Not the stuff that you drink, like booze, like B-O-O-Z-E. No, it's B-O-O-S. That kind. As Sammy pulled a table out from under the ring, we found out that they haven't been in the ring yet and the match hadn't officially started. And I'm just like, hold on. So that whole thing that they were doing wasn't part of the match at all? Are you kidding me? Why? Why AEW? That was just messed up on my end. Totally messed up on my end. Sammy put Darby on the table and hit a 630 Santon off the top rope and through the table. Sammy said Darby was done and the ref should throw the match out, but Allen rolled into the ring and the bell rang. Sammy hit a flying knee and got a 2 count. Sammy kicked the rope into Darby's throat, but Darby was able to fight back and lock on a gory special. Allen then switched it into an armbar on the mat, and as Sammy was reaching for the ropes, Allen grabbed the arm and pulled them both back. That was awesome. Now, I realized something. Most wrestlers that I've watched, including Darby Allin, Ronda Rousey, have actually done the armbar, and most wrestlers say that the armbar is the most popular submission move ever, because that's what most people have used. Allen ended up on the apron. Sammy hit a flying double stomp on Allen on the apron for a 2 count. Sammy rolled to the outside and grabbed the skateboard, but Darby hit a code red for a 2 count. Allen went to the top rope, but Sammy cut him off and chopped him. Allen shoved him off, but Sammy jumped back up and hit a Spanish fly. That was amazing. He got a 2 count. Sammy ripped off a turnbuckle pad as the ref checked on Darby and tried to throw him into it. Darby blocked it and hit a monkey flip that sent Sammy into the turnbuckle face first. Darby hit a flying stunner and the coffin drop for a 3 count. Holy shit, was that a good match. The result was Darby Allin. Rating 1 out of 4. I'm being honest with my ratings right now, guys. So don't go hypocritical on me. But yes, my rating for that match would have to be a 1 out of 4. What an excellent match, don't get me wrong. Darby Allin and Sammy are both getting very over with the audience. Allin is a top babyface in the making, and Sammy might be his top heel rivalry for years to come. That was phenomenal. So, the next match we have is Kenny Omega and Hangman Page versus the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson. Now, before we get to this match, I do have to say that at first when I heard this match was going to happen and people were rumoring that... Give me a minute. People were rumoring that Hangman Page was going to turn on Omega, whether they win the titles or not. But, guess I was wrong. Hangman taunted the Bucks as the names were announced. Kenny tried to calm him down and then started the match with Nick Jackson. Omega and Nick exchanged a series of wrist locks before Nick hit a lucha arm drag and then steamboat style one. Omega tagged out to Hangman and the crowd exploded. Him and Matt exchanged some fast counters and grapples. Matt Jackson offered a handshake to Hangman with a sly smile, showing he wasn't genuine. Hangman spit on his face and the crowd exploded again. Matt took Hangman down and started punching him. Kenny tried to pull him off, but he shoved Kenny away and started working over Hangman again. Nick pulled him away and tagged in, but Hangman hit him with a brutal punch. And I thought that was going to knock him out, to be honest. I thought that was actually going to knock him out, like something like that. Nick hit a soul butt and tagged out, and they hit a double team kick, drop kick on Page, and a head, scissors, and super kick on Kenny. Matt Jackson drop kicked Kenny into the guardrail, and then they hit a combo neck breaker and slingshot senton on Hangman. Hangman immediately went after Matt Jackson's back. Hangman tagged Omega and hard, and then demanded that Omega go to work on Matt's back. Interesting for the fact that these two will go after the back of this person. Interesting. Kenny didn't look impressed, but he did it and hit a backbreaker on Matt. Omega tagged up, out, and Hangman knocked Nick off the apron before throwing Matt to the floor and whipping him into the guardrail. Hangman went to powerbomb Matt on a ringside table, but Omega cut him off and threw Matt back into the ring. Omega and Hangman then hit some hard chops on Matt, but he blocked one of Kenny's. Hangman hit another forearm to the back, and Matt went for a Northern Lights suplex, but couldn't pick them up. Matt fired up and hit it, and then tagged out to Nick. Nick ran wild, hitting a flying knee in the corner in a series of moves on both men. Nick hit a kick off the apron on Kenny, a face buster on Hangman, and then a moonsault to the floor. Nick locked on a sharpshooter on Page, but Omega saved him with a crusher and decided to go for the rise of the Terminator, Matt. Matt cut him off, so Omega hit a Rana and went for it again. But Matt Jackson killed him with a super kick as Omega tried to fly over the top rope. A bad mistake right there. Nick got a 2 count. They kept Kenny from Page for a bit, and Matt spit on Hangman as revenge for earlier. Ugh, people spitting on each other, come on. Everybody might as well start the Ebola virus again, because that's how disgusting it was. Ugh. Omega almost made the tag, but Nick pulled Hangman off the apron, and then Matt hit a pile driver on Omega for a 2 count. Nick tried to hold Kenny in the middle and went for a punch on Hangman. Hangman dodged and nailed Nick. Omega tagged out, and Hangman hit a series of hard strikes, and then a fall-away slam on Matt. A Tropcon Gyro on Nick, and then clothesline Matt to the floor before overpowering both Bucks, and then hitting a moonsault off the top rope to the floor on both men. That was amazing, to be honest. I'm going to be honest with you on that. Hangman threw the near-dead body of Nick Jackson into the corner and asked Matt to tag him. Hangman and Matt started exchanging punches in the middle of the ring, and then Omega blind tagged in and laughed Matt into a German suplex on Matt, who landed right on top of his head. Ow, and I could have felt it right in Columbus, even though that's in Chicago, Illinois. Now I'm in Columbus, Ohio. I could have felt it way off here. He got over just in time to land, but damn was that close. Omega hit the Dr. Bomb for 2 count and then tagged out to Page. Oof. Hangman ran at Matt in the corner, but Matt ducked, and Nick Jackson held him with a Inzagera, and then several kicks and a super kick on Omega. Hangman shoved Nick off the top rope, and he moonsaulted onto the ramp, landed on his feet, and then hit a slingshot Canadian Drive Destroyer for a 2 count on Page. Matt Jackson held Page's head in the turnbuckle as Nick hit a cheeky Nanos kick on Page. They hit a sliced bread powerbomb combo for a 2 count. Page blocked a super kick and threw it into Matt's head. Hangman then did Marty Scurll's fake out on Matt and kicked Matt in the knee and did the chicken wing. Marty lives! Repeat! Marty lives! Marty lives! Marty lives! Marty lives! Matt rolled backwards out of it, and Nick hit a 450 splash, but Hangman kicked out. Matt went for more bang for your buck, but was unable to do it because of his back. Omega hit You Can't Escape on Matt, and Page jumped up and hit a blockbuster suplex on Nick for a 2 count. Omega killed Nick with a bombery for a 2 count, but Matt broke it up. Omega tagged in and hit a series of V-triggers and snapdragons before hitting the Tiger Driver 98 on Nick, but Nick kicked out. Ugh. Sorry, guys, my throat's hurting me right now from talking, but I'm going to keep doing this. Nick was face first in the turnbuckle, and Omega hit another V-trigger. Omega put Nick on his shoulders and went for a top rope V-trigger, but Nick hit a top rope poison Rana. Page took out Nick, but Matt Jackson hit a Northern Lights suplex on the ramp and rolled back and hit 2 more up the ramp. Oh my goodness. Matt looked spent emotionally as he picked Page up and signaled for the Indie Taker. At first I thought he said Undertaker. Matt and Nick hit the Indie Taker on Hangman and on the rope. And he might be down and out. The crowd booed the Young Bucks here. Omega was all alone in the ring. Matt told Nick to super kick Kenny, and Nick looked sad, but he did it. Interesting that if a wrestler looks sad, that means that they don't want to do it. And that's interesting for the fact that if what he did, that was unbelievable. When Nick was told by his brother to go kick Kenny, Nick looked sad. That was just unbelievable. I thought, wow. Are we going to see a heel turn here? Hello? The Bucks hit a series of super kicks and then hit the golden trigger to a huge amount of boos. Omega kicked out at 1. They did it again, and he kicked out at 2. Now, I was thinking to myself, if they do it again, he's not going to kick out after this, because he kicked out at 1. The second time they did it, they kicked out at 2. What's next? They kicked out. They did it the third time. He kicked out at 3. I don't know. Matt started to stomp on the shoulder of Omega that he hurt in the match with Pac. And the ref kept trying to stop him, but Matt kept doing it. Matt ripped off the tape on Omega's shoulder, and Nick asked him what he was doing. Matt Jackson's hands were shaking as he realized what he was doing. Matt picked Kenny up and went for the Meltzer driver. But Page somehow crawled over and pulled Nick off the apron and powerbombed him through a table. Omega and Page hit the buckshot trigger for a 2 count. Omega hit a V trigger on Matt and went for the one-winged angel, but Matt kept fighting out because of his shoulder. Omega ate a super kick and Page tagged in and hit a one-winged angel instead. Nick broke it up. Page threw Nick outside and hit a buckshot, lower it on Nick and on the ramp, and then another on Matt for the pinfall victory. So still, and the result is they are still your AEW Tag Team Champions, Kenny Omega and Hangman Page. Now, if I had to put a rating for this, it would be 6 star. It would be 6 stars. So in case you guys don't remember, my first match, the first match I was talking about, which was the pay-per-view, it was only 2 stars. Now the next match that I was talking about, Dustin Rhodes and Jack Hagar, only 3 stars. 3 stars. Darby Allin versus Sammy Guevara, only 4 stars. Now the tag team match received from me 6 stars. And this is why. Good Lord. This was an astonishing great tag team match. All 4 men put their heart and soul and their body into the match, and the storytelling was next level. This was absolutely fantastic from start to finish, and have an idea where the story with Page is going next. But it is clearly working with getting Hangman over. This had to be one of the best tag team matches I've ever seen. Kenny Omega was delivered 2 5-star performances in less than 5 days, and that, my friends, is insane. All 4 men struggled to their feet, and the Bucks congratulated them. Hangman still stood away from them, but Kenny posed with them. Hangman looked so sad, and it looked like Hangman was going to hit a buckshot on Kenny, but he ultimately brought Kenny over and left the ringside area with him. I can't believe it's 2:53 right now. But hey, I don't really care. I love doing videos like these. So next match we had Nyla Rose, your AEW Women's World Champion Nyla Rose versus Chris Statlander. This match has a lot to live up to after the last one. Both women are over enough that they could put something together. The opening saw them try and get each other off their feet with little success, and let me tell you, it was poor. Statlander hit a drop toe hold and then flipping Stanton and a standing moonsault for a 2 count. Statlander charged into the corner, but Nyla sent her into the ramp and hit a forearm that drove Statlander to the ground. Statlander tried to hit a suicide dive, but Nyla dodged and Statlander crashed to the ramp hard. Ooh. I felt bad because that felt painful. Nyla then hit a spear through the ropes and got a 2 count. Nyla went for a powerbomb, but Statlander blocked it. Nyla hit 2 clotheslines and then tossed Statlander into the turnbuckle of a suplex. Nyla stomped on Chris in the ring and they exchanged strikes. with Statlander hitting a super kick. Statlander hit an Angeriza that sent Nyla to the floor, and then hit a suicide dive on Nyla. Statlander went for it again and drove Nyla backwards again. Statlander threw Nyla back in and went to the top rope. Chris hit a missile drop kick off the top rope for a 2 count. Statlander hit a running Laurent, but Nyla responded with 1-2 and sent Chris crashing to the mat. Nyla put Statlander on the ropes and went for a flying knee, but Statlander did a knee headstand and walked away before blowing a kiss at Nyla. Statlander rolled Nyla up and then hit a kick and a DDT for a 2 count. That was a great spot. Nyla ended up getting an STF and then went for a splash, but Chris got the knees up. Statlander hit the ropes, but Nyla responded with a pop-up powerbomb for a 2 count. Nyla went to the top ropes, but ate a strike, and Statlander climbed up and hit a superplex. Statlander almost fell, but still managed to fall into the suplex. Statlander got a 2 count. Nyla hit a big boot and went to the turnbuckle again, but Chris cut Nyla off again and went for the Hurricane Arena. Nyla tried to pull Statlander up, but had a hard time with it. Nyla still hit the powerbomb, and it was not looking good. Nyla got the 3. And the result was Nyla Rose retaining the AEW champion, the AEW Women's Championship. My rating for this, 2 stars. This was perfect. This was a perfectly fine match to follow the last one, but Nyla and Statlander were both green, so it was a little rough in some spots. That finish was a little weak at both struggled to get the move executed. But I am glad they were both safe, because safety is the most important thing when it comes to sports. I should know, because I play sports. But that could have been very bad, but thankfully it wasn't. I was worried both could have gotten hurt here. So, the next match that we will be talking about, it's the match everybody has been wanting to see, and they got it. Cody Rhodes versus MJF. MJF immediately bailed to the floor as Cody went after him. After a quick exchange, Cody went for the Cody Cutter, but MJF bailed to the floor again, hopped into the crowd, and flipped the fans off. Arn told Cody to stay in the ring and not play MJF's game, and the crowd chanted "coward" at him. MJF grabbed the beer of a fan and threw it into another fan, to a chaos chorus of boos. Boo. MJF bailed again, and Cody simply waited for him. MJF came back in, and they started to exchange punches, with Cody hitting the Cody Cutter for a 2 count. MJF rolled into the ramp, and Cody was thinking about hitting a dive to the ramp again, but felt the scars on his eyes. Cody thought better off it, ran all the way up the ramp and down the tunnel before running back and killing MJF with a clothesline into the ring. That was amazing. I was like, it's the clothesline from hell! Cody spun MJF around with an airplane spin, and the crowd popped. Cody then hit the Alabama Slam before going for a pinfall, but picking MJF up at 1. Cody started punching him in the face and kicking him. Wardlow pulled MJF to the floor again as this wasn't looking good for his boss. Brandy came over with a beer in hand and threw it into Wardlow's face, which was amazing. Cody then hit a suicide dive on Wardlow and took him out, leaving MJF all alone. That was a fantastic spot. I will agree. And Cody threw MJF back into the ring, but MJF cut him off with an arm winger over the rope. Wardlow pulled Cody's arm into the post and then continued to work over the arm with a wheelbarrow powerbomb into the arm. That was a very Arn Anderson style move. MJF's previous finisher before the double cross was an armbar. MJF did the Fargo Strut to Booze and locked on a double wrist lock that Cody tried to fight. Cody rushed MJF into the corner and tried an Irish whip, but MJF yanked on the arm, kicked it, and locked on Salt of the Earth. MJF figured fouled forward the arm and started to yank on the other arm. Cody tried to reach it with his feet, but MJF grabbed a leg like ZSJ would. Whoever the heck that is. I had to look this up, but that's another story for another time. Cody managed to pull himself to the ropes and broke the submission by biting the rope. That was a great spot. MJF took Cody's boot off, leaving the toe that Cody broke in the cage match with Wardlow exposed. Ugh, and let me tell you, that was disgusting. Because he had some photos of it on Instagram and Twitter. Good God, was that disgusting. MJF then bit Cody's foot to the horror of the crowd. Aaron Anderson got on the apron and started yelling at the ref for it. And what should we tell you? That should have been disqualification right there. Because that was just... Ugh. I'm getting cold chills because of it. That's how disgusting it was. MJF put Cody on the top rope and hit a throat thrust to him. Cody slipped out and sent MJF flying into the turnbuckle face first. Cody put MJF on the top rope and hit a top rope inverted suplex. Cody hit a disaster kick and went for a dive, but Wardlow cut him off. Aaron Anderson grabbed a chair and chased him off. MJF came up covered in blood, and Cody punched him repeatedly. MJF countered a move attempt and at the heat seeker and went for a pinfall. Wardlow put MJF's feet on the ropes, and the ref saw it and threw him off. Brandy went for a dive on Wardlow, but he caught her and went for the F10 on her, but Cody cut him off. Cody went for a pump kick, but Wardlow moved and Cody nailed Arn Anderson. MJF low-blowed Cody for a 2 count. Cody tried to hit his vertical suplex over the top rope to the floor, but MJF held on and pulled Cody over the top rope and onto the floor. That was insane. Let me just tell you that. That was insane. Both barely made it back into the ring, and they stumbled about and started exchanging punches and forearms. Cody then hit the flip, flop, and fly, but MJF just fell to the mat to avoid the bionic elbow. Cody went to pick him up, but it was a trick as MJF countered into the double cross for the 2 count. MJF grabbed Cody's weight belt and went to whip him, but the ref took it away. Playing off the story of of the whipping angle. Ugh, that was just. Ugh. Cody then booted MJF low when the ref couldn't see it. Cody hit Din's fire and scored a 2 count. Cody then grabbed the belt and looked at, thinking revenge. Cody whipped him and then the crowd exploded. The ref told him stop, but Cody said one more time, and the ref currently looked away as Cody killed him. Ugh. MJF went to the corner and begged Cody to forgive him. Cody accepted a hug, but MJF spit in his face. Cody hit him with 2 crossroads before going for a third. MJF hit a knee right to Cody's face, then pulled a diamond ring out of his trunks and smashed Cody right in the mouth with it and collapsed onto Cody for the pinfall. Result: MJF over Cody. My rating: 4 stars. I thought this was a very good old school heel match. It was hurt by the tag team being so blow away earlier that nothing could live up to it. However, this and the women's match was so different from the tag match that it might be enough to help the crowd reset after that. It might have been best to put the tag match on last, as I don't think anyone can top that one. So the next match we have is Pac versus Orange Cassidy. Now, when I heard that Orange Cassidy was actually going to be fighting, I was shocked, because seeing Cassidy always having his hands in his pocket, I thought, oh great, we're never going to see him fight. Nope, I was wrong. Orange Cassidy started the match trying to put his hands in his pocket, but Pac blocked it. So Orange took him over with a wrist lock and then put the hands in his pockets. Orange did his kicks and Pac threw a few of his own before shoving him to the mat. OC dropped to his feet and floated over and hit a shotgun kick to drop Pac. The crowd exploded. Orange hit an arm drag and then a roll up for a 2 count. Pac was clearly frustrated. Pac managed to hit a twirl backbreaker and then threw Orange into the guardrail. Pac then threw OC into the ring post head first, and that was brutal. Pac slammed Orange and then went to the top rope and hit a flying missile drop kick that sent Orange across the ring. Pac picked up Orange and hit a Liger bomb for a 2 count. Excalibur said that if he didn't know better, he would have thought Pac from a town called Malice. JR said that he once knew a girl named Alice who was from Malice, and she was mean. I laughed. The crowd chanted "No Pope" at Pac as he picked up Orange and hit a brain buster off the top rope for a 2 count. Pac went for the Black Arrow, but Orange just rolled into the floor, and the crowd chanted "Holy shit!" And Pac picked him up and tried to hit him again, but OC rolled to the floor again to a huge pop. Cassidy rolled to the other side of the ring, but Pac cut him off. Cassidy smiled and then rolled back to the middle. I'm sorry, him rolling around, I was just like, oh my gosh, this just fuels the comedy. He looked up, smiles, and just rolled back into the middle. I'm like, seriously? I just started laughing. Pac mocked him, and Orange hit a suicide dive to a huge pop. Cassidy then hit a flying crossbody into the ring, and then hit a tornado DDT for a 2 count. Orange picked him up, but Pac hit Lauret and dropped him again. Pac picked him up, and Orange hit weak slaps. Pac hit a forearm, and Orange put his hands in his pocket and hit a hard forearm, and then a flipping stunner. Orange went to the top rope, but Pac cut him off and went for a tombstone off the top rope. But Cassidy hit a tornado DDT off the top rope and then a flying DDT off the top rope. Pac rolled onto the ramp, and Trent threw him back in. Cassidy hit the air raid crash for a 2 count. The Lucha Brothers ran out and attacked Chuck and Trent, and they brawled to the back. Pac managed to hit an arm winger that sent OC to the mat, and he locked on the brutalizer for the win. The result, Pac over Orange. The number of stars I'm giving this? 3. This was a very fun match that showed what some didn't realize. Orange Cassidy is a very good wrestler, and that's what most people don't know about Orange. That was actually a pretty good match. Pac was the perfect guy for this match, and Orange got over as a wrestler that can actually win. And that the act of not caring as a gimmick to draw his opponent into not taking him seriously. This was very well done. Now the main event. Chris Jericho of the Inner Circle versus Jon Moxley for the AEW World Championship. Moxley made his way to ringside by walking from outside the arena and in. Very cool superstar style entrance. Chris Jericho has a choir to sing his theme entirely, and the crowd sung along. Judas and... It was, Judas. Named song Judas by Fozzy, who, by the way, Chris Jericho is the singer of Fozzy, in case you guys didn't know that. As they did the introduction, Moxley was pacing around, clearly anxious to fight. They started throwing punches right away, and Mox clotheslined Jericho over the top rope. Moxley threw Jericho over the guardrail, but was distracted by Santana or Ortiz. Jericho threw a drink into Moxley's face and started beating on Moxley with the one of the temporary posts that makes a barrier. It looked like Jericho was trying to get DQ so that he wouldn't have to keep fighting. Jericho threw Moxley down the stairs and grabbed a camera, flipped Moxley off through the camera. I was like, nah. Moxley is the one that flips people off. But then again, most wrestlers do flip everybody off in AEW. Jericho picked up a guardrail and threw it at Moxley, tearing up mat of the ringside area, and Moxley hit forearms and then chopped Jericho against the guardrail, before biting the stitches on his head. As the ref checked on him, Jericho managed to shove Moxley away and pushed him eye first and face first into the ring post. There was blood on Mox's hand, and Jericho powerbombed Moxley into the timekeeper's table. Blood started pouring out of Moxley's face by the eye. The doctor gave him some gauze, but Jericho kept going after the eye with punches and blood poured out from under the eye patch. Jericho rang the bell and then declared himself the winner. Jericho hit a slingshot on Moxley, whipping him into the bottom ropes and then flipped the fans off. Jericho hit a right hand in the corner, and Moxley fired up and started hitting Jericho with punches and chops in the corner. And Moxley fired up and started hitting Jericho with punches and chops in the corner. Moxley charged at the corner, and Jericho dodged, and Moxley ran chest first into the turnbuckle, Bret Hart style. Jericho threw Moxley out of the ring and distracted the refs, so Santana and Ortiz started stomping on Jericho. Jericho went to the outside, and Moxley fired up again. But Jericho threw him into the ring steps. Jericho put Mox into the top rope and went for a top rope suplex, but Mox cut him off and sent him to the mat. Moxley hit a flying lariat into the ring, and Mox had blood coming out from under the patch again. Moxley hit a series of forearms and some hard clotheslines in the corner before hitting a series of hard boots to Jericho in the corner. Moxley went for a shotgun dropkick off the middle rope, but Jericho countered into the Lion Tamer. Moxley rolled through and countered into a leg rock like Randy Couture was teaching in the AEW Countdown. Jericho got outside, so Moxley hit a suicide dive to the back of Jericho, and Jericho got into the ring first and went for a springboard dropkick, but Moxley dodged and hit a running knee for a 2 count. Moxley went for a pentagram shift, but Ortiz got into the top turnbuckle, but Mox kicked him off. Santana went to attack, but Moxley cut him off. Santana hit him with the slapjack, though, and Jericho hit the lion salt for a 2 count. Jericho went for the code breaker, but Moxley countered into the pentagram shift attempt that Jericho countered. The training from Randy Couture worked again. Moxley locked on the Lion Tamer, but Hagar ran down and Moxley stopped him from getting in. Jericho hit the code breaker and got a 2 count, and then locked on the walls of Jericho. Moxley sat in for a while, but Moxley dragged himself to the ropes. Aubrey count to 4 before Jericho let go, and Jericho shoved her twice. I'm sorry, Aubrey should just slap Jericho for doing that. Jericho is trying to get DQ'd, but the ref was not listening. Moxley ate a punch from Hagar, but Aubrey saw it and threw out the whole inner circle, which was very well done. However, as she was getting rid of them, Sammy Guevara was in and nailed Moxley with the AEW title and ran back out through the crowd. Jericho covered him, but Moxley kicked out. Moxley had more blood pouring out from behind the patch, and Jericho started punching him in the left eye, so both eyes would be out of commission. Moxley slapped Jericho and started fighting back and went for the pentagram shift, but Jericho gouged his good eye from then kicked him right in the eye. Mox couldn't see out of either eye now, and Jericho killed him with a right hand. Jericho then drove a right drove a knee right into Moxley's eye. Jericho went for the Judas effect, but Moxley ducked and hit a pentagram shift, and he then took off his eye patch, showing that he could see out of his right eye, with quite the cut below the eyebrow. The crowd popped huge for that. Moxley then hit the pentagram shift and pinned Jericho. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a new champion. The winner, Jon Moxley over Chris Jericho. The rating, 10 out of 10. 10 stars. The match was wild and fantastic. Old school bloody brawl. I loved every second of this match. Moxley and Jericho brawled everywhere, and Mox bled and sold so well here. The match was perfect with Aubrey in the inner circle. This was the fantastic way to close the match. Close AEW. Show rating? Oh wow. I had to give the show rating. Just what I rate the show? I'll give it a 7. 7 stars. This was a very good showing from AEW here on this pay-per-view, with what easily their best built show to date. I had a feeling as I watched the TV that Moxley was going to walk out as champion with how much they were putting him over, but I was convinced yet. In fact, I predicted that Jericho was going to win before the show, but as I watched the story of the match unfolding with Jericho attacking the eye and blinding the left eye, I was sure Moxley was going to remove the patch and win that way. AEW built this main event so well, and it still proved to be a surprise. This was a phenomenal way to close the show. Moxley grabbed a mic and cut a promo about how this was not his title, but it belonged to all the fans, just like AEW did. This was a very good promo. As Moxley said he was going to grab some beer and whiskey with the fans, Moxley walked into the crowd and posed with the title as the show went off the air. This card had 2 very big standout moments for me. With the first being what was the best tag team match I've ever seen, and second being Moxley's AEW title win. Cody and MJF could have been a bit more heated if it didn't come after the tag team match, but now I understand why the tag team match didn't go on last. Given Moxley's title win, however, the tag match was so good that it unfortunately overshadowed the rest of the card until the main event. I'm not sure how AEW could have done it, but it might have been best to put the tag team match on first and let the rest of the card stand with an attempt to reset the crowd by the time they got to Cody versus MJF. They also could have had them scale the tag team match back a bit, which exactly may have been the best option. Regardless, this was a very good pay-per-view by AEW and a very well-baked pay-per-view. The Cody MJF feud continues, and we are left wondering what is next for the tag champs, Nyla Rose and Chris Jericho. How would Jericho react to losing the title? It'll be fun to find out next time on AEW Dynamite. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me in my review. Let me just say, it's been amazing to see my favorite AEW wrestler, Jon Moxley, win the title. So I'm going to sign off for this night. I gotta get some sleep before I have to go into work because it's 3:24 a.m. here in Columbus, the Buckeye State. Until next time, excuse me. Until next time, guys. Thank you guys so much. Hit that like and subscribe button. Hit that bell for post notifications. Until next time, guys, this is Sonic, the Wrestling Reporter Hedgehog, saying, we'll see you next time. Gotta go fast.